Porta Palazzo in Turin, Italy on a bountiful Saturday. This is the largest open air market in Europe. Kind of hard to find your way around. Hi everybody, I'm Scott Russell and welcome to our continuing coverage of the World Figure Skating Championships on CBC. You know, at Porta Palazzo you can get just about anything that your heart desires. You can get fruit, vegetables, clothing, fish, souvenirs, absolutely anything. Kind of like our show today. It's a marketplace on ice, and we've got 4 hours of the best figure skating in the world. We're working our way towards the highly anticipated ladies' long program at the Palavella. And today on CBC, we're in the marketplace for brand new stars. People like Mirai Nagasu of the United States in the short program at Palavella. That was last night at the Palavella. Mirai Nagasu, 16 years old, of the United States, and this is today getting off the bus, making her way into the arena, getting ready for the free skate, along with her coach, Frank Carroll. They train in El Segundo, California, and right now they're into the lead. Welcome inside the arena, Scott Russell along with Tracy Wilson and Kurt Browning, and we're going to have a great show for you today. Kurt's got a wonderful interview with Patrick Chan. Tracy catches up with Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir. All kinds of great skating in all 4 disciplines, getting set up for that women's free skate. And Kurt, how about a comment about Mirai Nagasu? Wonderful, and you called that.
Thank you. She impressed me so much at the Olympics. She's a little firefly across the ice. But what she did is she went out there without pressure and laid it down. She wanted desperately to do a triple-triple combination. She has that in her capacity. One would think with Yuna Kim 10 points back that it would be an easy walk for Asada to jump into first place. It's not going to be. Mirai has certain attributes that Mao doesn't. For example, the triple-triple, Mao's not going to be doing Sao or the triple-triple.
Yeah, and you talk about Asada, 2008 world champion. She too gets off the bus, draws a crowd, walks just like everybody else, but what a skater, Tracy Wilson. She's in second spot, similar situation to the Olympics.
Yes, second spot. She's the only one, I think, who's not surprised after the short program, though she is surprised she's not chasing Yuna Kim.
Yeah.
For Asada, it's been all about the triple axel this year in competition, and it will be about that again today. In the short program, it was downgraded to a double, did not fully rotate it. She's got 2 planned today, and as Kurt said, she needs them because she doesn't have a triple-triple, a triple Lutz, a triple Salchow, so she needs both axles in this program to have a chance at the gold medal.
And Yuna's still in it.
Yeah, Yuna's still in. Here is Asada in the short program as Kurt, Tracy, and I saw it last night. Vella to talk a little dance with Tracy Wilson and the fortunes of Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir of Canada, the Olympic gold medal champions who came to Turin to get the one thing they don't have in their career. That's a world title.
And they're set up nicely for it. They're in first place going into the free dance. We get one more look at this program. But again, like at the Olympic Games, they will be pushed by Meryl Davis and Charlie White of the United States, who have a powerful free dance. We're expecting more fireworks in this rink, and combine that with the hometown heroes, Faella and Scally. They are fighting for a bronze medal. Very, very exciting.
You've always said that Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir have a chance to revolutionize the dance. They're pioneers. Why?
They have no weaknesses. Very, very talented technically, artistically. I don't think anybody can touch them. And then you combine that with great choreographers in Marina Zueva and Igor Spielband. Their material is stunning. It's easy to like, and it crosses all cultures and the different sports. So there's nothing not to like about them.
Yeah, what's not to like? Absolutely. After the original dance, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir of Canada, followed by Meryl.
Tessa and Scott standing up here on the world-famous Fiat test track, and it's a great place to look over at the Olympic Village in Torino. And Scott, you were mentioning wanting to go and check that place out and compare it to the Vancouver site.
Yeah, I don't think anything will compare to Vancouver, but it'd be really neat just to compare, because we heard from all the other Olympians how great the Olympics were and how such a great job that Canada did hosting the games. So it'd be neat. We're definitely looking forward to that.
You know, people watch you in Vancouver, and we saw you in all your glory, and the tendency is to say, oh my gosh, they live a charmed life. It's so easy for them. But it hasn't been that way, and I think first was the struggle of not making the Olympics, and then last season. How did last season change this season for you?
Well, now that we have some perspective on last season, I think it changed us not only as people but as skaters. We really learned to adapt and to manage the nerves and the stress and just come together and work as one. We needed each other. I certainly needed Scott last season, and he was so supportive, and that just brought us closer together. So we're able to take on the challenges of last season and come into this season knowing that with training, we were confident that we could deliver.
Now, Scott, you came off the ice last night and you said to me, I like competing so much more this year than last year.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, last year was a really tough year for both of us, and you know it's really hard to compete when you have 5 run-throughs, and I think 4 of those were at competition. So you never knew what to expect when we went out on the ice, and we found ourselves kind of praying and just kind of hoping. And what a difference this year was. You know, we were prepared. We had so much under our belt. We kept saying to ourselves, you know, we've done all this before. We're so prepared. We're so ready. And we did it last year when we didn't have the training. So we knew that we could deliver, and it was a big part of our journey last year. You know, you need the hardship. It sounds so cliche, but it was so necessary, and it's made us a lot stronger.
Going through what you guys have gone through as a team, how has your relationship evolved, Tessa, since the beginning to now?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, in 13 years together, we know each other so extremely well, and we're best of friends. That said, we're still learning about each other, and you know, we're still learning how to compete together and how to take the ice and what to say. And specifically in the last few months, I think we've taken it to another level, and we're closer than ever. And it's just been so nice to share this experience together, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
What does Tessa bring to the relationship that you're most happy about, that makes the biggest difference for you?
Well, I think especially this week, I saw another side of Tessa I've never seen before, really. She was so cool and calm and collected, and I felt like I was really relying on her to, you know, to keep me calm, and I was so nervous at the World Championships. I didn't expect that, so I was really grateful this week to have kind of a calm hand to really keep us under control, and I was really grateful for that.
Tessa, is it usually Scott that relaxes you and gets
Usually,
you?
well, he can usually crack a few jokes and make us laugh. And
What's the joke on this week?
a bit more tense this week, but I think, you know, there was so much pressure on us, so we certainly felt that coming in, but we just had to remember to rely on our training, and we'd proven that we could compete, we'd proven that we could be the best, so it was just about enjoying the performances.
And what is it to the relationship that Scott brings that you're most grateful for?
Well, there isn't much that Scott doesn't bring to this relationship, but I mean, just that fire and that passion. Scott's a fierce competitor, but I see that every day in training, and you know, everything he does, he gives 100%. And that just comes from within, and he does just crazy things at the end of sections when we finish on practice, and he just goes off and dances in his own little world. So, I mean, he always keeps me on my toes. I never know what to expect.
Let's talk about the highs. Is there one moment, and can you describe it, Tessa, this season that stood out?
I'd have to say standing on the podium, singing the national anthem at the Olympic Games. It was everything I ever thought it could be, but so much better. And you never know quite how you're going to react in that situation. People were asking me even a few months before, you know, if you win, are you going to be emotional, or how are you going to handle it? And I don't think I've ever had so much fun. I just kept looking at Scott and saying, we won the Olympics, we did it.
My hand is still sore from how hard you were squeezing.
Yeah, that was probably the top moment for me.
Tell me about what was going through your mind at center ice when it was over. You'd finished the free dance, you'd done everything I think that you probably hoped you could. What were you thinking, Scott?
That was the weirdest moment, actually, because we weren't really saying much, and we were so happy, and we were just looking at each other, and we were just stunned. You know, it was like the world was kind of happening to us until we got back to the boards and got to Marina and Igor, and then I think they kind of reassured us that it was a great skate, and you know, we were going to be Olympic champions, and it was just like, oh my God, like we did it, and it's actually happening. So. The moments when we were just standing there, you could see on the tape when I watch it, we're just looking at each other, like, kind of like it's not really happening, but it was very cool.
And, you know, hypothetically looking to the future, what else would you like to bring to the sport? I mean, it feels like you've just scratched the surface, albeit in a significant way. What else would you like to bring to the sport?
I think there are so many different places we can go with programs. We'd want to challenge ourselves and push the envelope and try new programs, different music, different forms of art and dance, and transferring that onto the ice, which is always a challenge. And that's something we love about the sport. We love to see what we can push, and what it brings out of us. So I think we have a lot to go, and hopefully lots more creative stuff to come.
Excellent. Thank you both. Enjoy your time off.
Thanks, Tracy.
World Figure Skating Championships, who better to provide his analysis than four-time world champion Kurt Browning. All right. Evgeny Plushenko not here, the Olympic silver medalist. Evan Lysacek, the gold medalist, not at the World Championships. But still, Kurt, an important competition.
Well, absolutely. At stake is a world title. Now, it wasn't the massive crush of talent that we saw at the Olympic Games, but this is the beginning of the next quadrennial. We need to make a statement. Names like Daisuke Takahashi, Patrick Chan, of course, Jeremy Abbott, these guys have a chance to claim a world title. And with that world title, let's face it, make some money, get out in the world, and make a living doing what you love. So it's a world title. It'll always be on your sheet, and it's important.
Disappointed with a fifth-place finish at the Olympic Games. How important for Patrick Chan to make a statement here in Turin at the championship?
Well, aside from what I just said about needing a world title under your belt, and he deserves it. He's good enough to do it, and I will hope for him to do it. But what I think he needs is to sort of recover from what happened at the Olympic Games. Not a failure by any chance. I think for the season he had, what he did in Vancouver when the crush of pressure, he did great. But now let's move on. And I think 2 years ago, he might have said, Vancouver, I'm done. I think he's starting to like training, he's like competing, and he's going to stick around for a while.
It is a great mix in the men's competition here at the Palavella. After the short program, Daisuke Takahashi of Japan has the lead, followed by Patrick Chan of Canada. Brian Joubert is third. Consecutive silver medal at the World Championships. He is still near the top of his game. Four-time world champion Kurt Browning had a chance to catch up with Patrick casually here in Turin.
We're in Turin. The World Figure Skating Championships are over for you. Finally a day off. And it's been a long year coming to this day where you can go,
a sigh of relief, yeah.
And does it feel good?
Oh, it feels amazing.
Well deserved. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Let's go back a year. Let's go back to the podium. We're in Los Angeles at the World Figure Skating Championships, and you're second in the world. Your first time on the podium at the World Championships. I doubt this is the year you had visioned before you.
I think after LA, I really had this mentality of, oh, why not? I don't see why I wouldn't be on the podium in Vancouver.
In Vancouver, sure. You're second in the world.
Yeah,
why
second
not?
in the world the year right before the Olympics, and but I don't think I was sort of young and I guess brash, and I didn't really think about the reality.
Well, you're still young and brash, but.
But when I got to Vancouver, and it definitely didn't turn out the way I wanted.
Let's face it, you've had a lot of changes.
Yeah.
The coaching situation was a big change. You've moved a couple of times, your training, and then that big injury. So you recovered so well, but it couldn't have been easy.
No. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I think that's the good thing about being young and still being able to bounce back. And I mean, Scott Russell used to. I remember once after I did a gala and I hit the boards, and I got back up. I popped back up. He's like, "You're like a puppy. You never stop moving. You run into things, and you keep getting up, and you keep going." And that's sort of what I felt like I was doing this whole season is, recovering and always catching up. I wasn't I wasn't on the same playing field, I felt. But that's just how things happen sometimes, and that's just how things roll out.
But for me, the low point must have been Skate Canada.
Oh,
because Skate Canada had to be a real checking point. Skate Canada didn't go even remotely close to the way you wanted it. You said Vancouver didn't go well. You skated great.
Yeah.
You did pretty much as much of your job as you could do with what you had at the time. I was very proud of you. But Skate Canada, you must have been saying, Vancouver can wait a couple of years, please?
I think that was by far the most embarrassing moment of my career, I think, so far. It's just, I went out and I was like, I had a lot of confidence. I felt great because it's back from the injury and seeing great people looking after me, and I thought I would definitely kill it at Skate Canada. Didn't turn out that way.
No.
So it was tough. It was a tough time, and I got off the ice and I couldn't believe it.
What's the last few seconds before you step on the ice like at the Olympics in Vancouver? I mean, I skated in Calgary. That was at home. I wasn't a favorite. I wasn't Brian Orser. You were.
Yeah. It was a catch-22. The whole having a lot of media and getting a lot of exposure, because of course you get recognized really well and you get a lot of recognition and a lot of support. But then on the other hand, you feel like, oh gosh, I gotta really perform well for everyone. You know, I feel like you feel like you're under a microscope, basically.
Really big
A
microscope.
really big microscope.
Did you enjoy it? Like, was there any way that you got to skate in Vancouver and actually enjoy it, or was it like, this is hard?
I felt great. I felt the best I've ever felt physically, but mentally, I have to tell you, it wasn't the same as here.
Here was more relaxing. Where in
I
Italy,
learned-
the Olympics are over and your shoulders come down a tiny bit.
Yeah. What I learned after the Olympics is what I had to have learned before to have won a medal, if that makes sense.
That's the catch-22 you talk
Yeah.
about. You have to go through it before you can really learn
Exactly.
it. Everyone can tell you as much as they want to tell you, but on a personal level, from me to you, proud of you. The Olympics were great. Like, I'm really proud of you. Good boy.
Thanks.
Not what you wanted, I know.
Yeah.
Does that make you hungry? Is there skating in the future or school? What now?
Before the Olympics, I was sold to not skate after.
I knew that.
And I think a lot of people thought I was nuts. And now I look back, I think I was a little nuts and I was joking, I was joking to the media like, oh, after the Olympics, maybe a miracle will happen and I'll decide to skate another 4 years.
Yeah.
And it actually happened. Like
I called you, I said, I read something that you just said. And you said, I didn't say that. And I go, but it says you did. So I think you didn't know what you wanted then. But now you do.
I didn't. And I didn't enjoy training as much as I do now. I enjoy, the pain, the agony, and the whole being in shape I just love it. It just feels so good. And being in Colorado is just beautiful. I love it. I love the weather. It just makes me so happy. And now, so I think definitely I'll take it year by year. Take my time, of course. I mean, my focus right now is not Sochi. My focus is Worlds next year.
You've had to deal with a lot of questions about the quad.
Yeah.
And even in the press conference here, you're sitting beside Jobert, the king of the quad at certain points in his career, and he didn't understand the question. You translated into French for him. This is what he translated to him. He said, Brian, what's it like to be in third place behind two guys that haven't landed the quad?
Like myself.
Like me, And that was a great moment at the press conference. It's a testament to actually you guys respecting each other that you could do that. But what is the future for the quad for Patrick?
First of all, our relationship between me and Brian has, I think, gone a long ways this competition. I wanted to go up to him and tell him it's such a great job after such a disappointing Olympics. I just wanted to congratulate him. I haven't had the chance yet, but I'm really happy to see him happy again.
Good for you.
For me, the quad I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do it next year in the program, in the free program. I don't know about the short program. People were already talking about putting it in the short. I was like, whoa, one step at a time.
Bravo!
Grazie.
Bravo. Complimenti, bravo.
We're standing in Torino, and what do you say in a year we do this again?
Yes, with wine.
With wine.
With wine.
The kids growing up. Thank you very much.
Good,
A great,
thanks.
great year of growth for you.
Yeah.
And we're all proud.
Same. Thanks.
She's a teenager with talent that belies her age. 16-year-old American Mirai Nagasu won the U.S. title 2 years ago, charming American audiences with her spirit and ease of jumps. The following year, injuries and poor performances led Nagasu to consider leaving skating. But a move to coach Frank Carroll changed all of that. This season, the California native has steadily improved. Earlier this year, she earned a trip to Vancouver by finishing second at the U.S. Nationals. And Nagasu didn't disappoint, improving her personal best free skate score by 20 points and winding up in 4th place at her very first Olympic Games.
Back inside the Palavella where the drama will unfold in the ladies' free skate. And here are Tracy and Kurt once more. Now, let's talk about Yuna Kim, the Olympic and world champion, Kurt, who's 10 points off the lead. What comes into play?
Well, two things. The fact that for most people at the World Figure Skating Championships, the best skaters in the world, they're out. 10 points, you're out. Not Yuna. There's a slight chance with another great skate that she could pull herself up, but then there's the part 2, mind games. She's tired. Will this inspire her to be 10 points out so that she can rise to it, or will it just do more to push her over to the edge of fatigue and exhaustion? So we'll wait and see.
Tracy, the leader is a youngster, 16-year-old Mirai Nagasu of the United States. Can she hold on?
First time at Worlds.
Yeah, she definitely can hold on, and I don't think fatigue or lack of motivation is a factor for Mirai. She's out here with something to prove. She was 4th at the Olympic Games. We saw her in the short program step it up here and add a triple-triple combination. What we also saw in the short program was downgraded jumps. It didn't affect Mirai in the short, but that factor has affected her all season. She's going to have to go clean here to hold off the big guns.
How about the supremely talented former world champion Asada, lurking there in 2nd place?
Lurking, yes, lurking. Well, you and I, earlier in the season in the Grand Prix Series, basically kind of dug her a shallow grave. She really has chosen 2 styles of music that we think suppress what's great about Mao. She's fought back. She has worked those programs to a point where they're not so sour and melodramatic, and actually has the triple axel flowing. If she can get it all the way around and get it counted, she has put herself back into a situation where she could be a world champion again.
And here's the good news for Canada. We have a skater in the mix in this country, and with more on her fortunes, here's Brenda Irving.
Scott, Canada's Cynthia Phaneuf skated a strong short program yesterday, currently sits in 8th position. She's going to need an equally strong free program today if she wants to hold or better that 8th place result after the short. But the free program has not been a friend of hers this season. She certainly struggled with it. It's been the weaker of the 2 programs. Now her stated goal heading into these World Championships was a 10th place finish or better. That would be an improvement on the Olympics, where she finished 12th. Last year's World Championships, when she placed 15th. Also important for Skate Canada that she finished in the top 10, because that would allow the country to send 2 women to next year's World Championships.
Many nations have been represented at the top of the ladies' world podium. The U.S. has had 26 world titles, from Tenley Albright and Peggy Fleming to Christy Yamaguchi and Michelle Kwan. Japan has had 5, including the legendary jumper Midori Ito to the teenage sensation Mao Asada. Some ladies have been able to claim multiple wins, like Norway's legendary Sonja Henie, who was the world champion 10 years in a row. Germany's Katharina Witt, whose feisty performances sealed the deal 4 times. And of course, Canada's Barbara Ann Scott with 2 wins of her own. But then there are the nations that have only been represented once at the top of the world podium. Switzerland's Denise Bielmann, who spun her way into victory in 1981. The Ukraine's Oksana Bayul, whose grace and style earned the gold medal in 1993. China's Lu Chen, a power jumper at 19 years old, became the 1995 world champion. And most recently, in 2009, Korea's darling Yuna Kim, who continues to dazzle the world with her sophisticated technique and graceful choreography.
Wherever she goes, she faces intense pressure from fans in her home country. They also adore her. Yuna Kim, quite simply the biggest news in South Korea, warming up for her free skate. She has to come from behind. Standings after the short program, Mirai Nagasu of USA has the lead, followed by Mao Asada of Japan. Laura Lepisto, the Finnish skater, is in 3rd spot. We mentioned Yuna Kim. She's way down in 7th, just ahead of Cynthia Phaneuf of Canada. Also, another former world champion, Miki Ando of Japan, languishing in 11th spot. She is a world champion in 2007 in Tokyo, but Miki Ando finds herself in the unfamiliar position of being well back after the short program. She is 11th.
Her season's best this year is 124, one of the best skaters in this field, so she can easily climb up in the ranks. 5th at the Olympic Games, and she'll be skating to Cleopatra.
Triplettes double loop. She went for the triple-triple in the short program, didn't get it. It was a big goal of hers.
She has a nice spring to her step and her jumps so far in this free program.
After an off season in 2008, she bounced back to win the bronze medal at the World Championships in Los Angeles last year. Had a great Grand Prix season, winning the Cup of Russia and NHK Japan.
Triple Lutz, she is a former world champion, having won that title in her home country of Japan, making her a superstar. She has not really shown that sort of medal since. A little wobble in that spin, but this program today is very strong.
You could see from her face she's enjoying being out there, something we haven't seen a lot this year.
That's for sure. It's great.
Very clean, crisp jumps with a nice soft touch on the landing. Landing like a feather.
Watching the competition, sometimes one skater steps on the ice at the right moment with the right skate and the flow of the competition changes, and I think that that could have been the skate.
Well, after the ladies' short program, I sure hope so. I agree. A sparkling performance for Miki Ando.
Well, I guess there's something about being world champion that gets in your blood.
Representing Japan,
Miki Ando of Japan, center stage at the Palavella. Wow, did Miki Ando need this?
And she had the lightness and the ease that every skater looks for out there on competition ice. 5th at the Olympic Games, and Kurt, if you're as good as your last performance, she's going to have a great time this summer thinking about this.
Well, she's 9 points off the podium, and a lot of strange things would have to happen before she sneaks up there, but this will be a capper for the end of the season, a long season for her. And like I said, that's the most I've enjoyed her skating in a long time.
Miki Ando, along with her coach, Nikolai Morozov, and they live and train in Hackensack, New Jersey.
We saw a number of downgrades, under-rotated jumps in the short program, and only one downgrade on a double loop. It was really an insignificant detail, Kurt, as you said. Nice score there, just off her personal best.
First place now for Miki Ando. There is no bigger surprise than the position that this skater is competing in. 7th after the short program. South Korea's superstar, the Olympic champion, 19-year-old Yuna Kim.
One of the toughest jobs in our sport is to gather your wits again. After winning the Olympics, come to the World Championships. She's accepted that challenge by putting herself 10 points out of first place. Now she has placed herself in a situation where she needs to fight. And if anything, this skate might be a little bit easier than if she was 10 points ahead. Okay, I said that, but she'd probably rather be 10 points ahead.
Skating to Concerto in F, choreographed by David Wilson. In the short program, she came undone in the little details, the spiral, the spin, and footwork. Opening here with her trademark triple, triple, triple Lutz, triple toe.
Coach Brian Orser in over the boards there with her every step of the way.
And this is a key jump for Yuna. Big hurdle to get past. Triple flip.
She's on her way. Coming. The entrance to that triple Salchow, just a little tiniest bit off balance.
Now she cannot let that get in her head because she's got a very difficult triple Lutz coming and she's tired.
Bent her knees and got it up in the air, nice and tight and crisp. She did exactly what she needed to do, which was rely on all those hours of training. Turn off your brain and let your body do the work.
Final jump, a double axel. And she popped it. You can see her legs just don't have the energy. And after the season she's had, who can blame her?
I still have chills.
And the crowd at Palavella gets it. She has the signs of a champion. Resilient, resolved, but maybe Yuna Kim ran out of gas. We'll return in a moment.
Mistakes. But this, as Frank Carroll, the coach of Evan Lysachuk, said, and after Evan won the Olympic Games, it's a mountain to climb up and then a mountain to climb back down. And if Evan Lysachuk would have been here, Frank said, I have no idea where he would have placed. What she did to come here and represent our sport the way she did, I just applaud her.
There were moments, and you can see a little trip there going into her triple salchow. So she didn't get the rotation. I think she may be downgraded on that jump, but remarkable that she came back fighting in with the triple Lutz. But there were moments a week before this, 2 weeks before this competition, where Yuna just said, I just can't do it. I physically can't find it. She did it because feeling that she is the champion of this sport, she had to do it, and this is the Sports World Championships. So tremendous respect for Yuna Kim.
And where she goes, others will follow.
That's right. David Wilson, her choreographer, I know, sent her an email to inspire her, and if anybody can make her laugh and give her a lift to her steps, it's David Wilson.
No bigger star in South Korea, not in sporting life, not in public life. Yuna Kim is it. There's the season's best. There's the free skate score, 130.49.
20 points off her Olympic program, as she said, not bad.
And for now, she's in first place.
Next to skate, representing Canada, Cynthia Phaneuf.
Big moment for Cynthia Phaneuf of Contrecoeur, Quebec, and her coach, Annie Barabé, as Cynthia makes her third appearance at the World Championships. The 2004 Canadian champion. Now she leads the way for the Maple Leaf in the absence of Joanie Rochette. She was 12th at the Olympic Games, but right now in the top 10, 8th position after the short program.
And if she can stay in the top 10, it will mean Canada can send 2 women next year, and it will also be a significant achievement for Cynthia going forward. Her music, Cleopatra, also choreographed by David Wilson. That was the highest triple toe I've seen Cynthia do. A great warm-up now as she heads into her more difficult jump, the triple Lutz, and she needs it.
She's not always friends with this jump.
Yes!
Hey, she is.
Oh.
She is patient on the ice, and David Wilson's choreography always has a ring of truth to it. Movements are there with a reason, and Cynthia can sell every single movement with her soul from the bottom of her blades all the way through to the tips of her fingers. It's one of her strengths, and I love it. Staying patient, staying within the jump. Gorgeous triple loop double toe. She, steady, she's on her way.
To look into the future, you have to remember the past. When she won that World Championship in Edmonton in 04, she was a 15-year-old and she was tiny. My, how she's grown and carries herself at these World Championships.
sequences as fine as anybody's in the world. Elegant body positions, deep edges. One last triple jump combination.
And Cynthia Phaneuf has gone clean.
What an absolutely fantastic moment in a skater's career to be at the World Figure Skating Championships. 30 seconds left in your program, and you can't do anything but smile.
Well, I might have given her credit for a world championship in 2004. It was, of course, a Canadian championship. Make no mistake, Cynthia Phaneuf is world class today.
Representing Canada, Cynthia Phaneuf.
Yuna Kim had a few difficulties in the short program yesterday. How did you feel in that free skate today?
Yesterday, my short program wasn't good, and then my practice this morning was too earlier, so I felt really heavy, and my practice wasn't good, so I was worrying about my long program. But in the warm-up, I felt really good, and my jumps were really great, so I felt so comfortable. And then I missed a few jumps in the long program, but overall, I'm just happy that I finished it.
How would you describe this season for you overall?
This season was the biggest season because of the Olympics, and I won the Grand Prix series and Olympics. I don't know about the World Championships yet, but I'm so happy that I overcome all the pressure.
Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Nothing like a job well done. Cynthia Phaneuf and her coach Annie Barabé. They were together out there on the ice, I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, Annie has watched her over and over in practice do clean skates like this, but she has yet to find it in competition. And boy, what a great time to lay it down. What I noticed on the first jump there, Kurt, the height and the distance across the ice, and look at the very strong landing. Often she goes up and then drops like a stone. Not today.
No, and what was happening is that she had such awareness of where she was hitting the ice on the blade. Now, most times in a pressure-filled environment, even a great jump can be turned into an iffy jump because your knee is a little sharp, you throw the right arm out a little crispy. No, she was patient before the jump, keeping her balance before every single entrance into every single jump, and also into the landing, patience into the knee, and letting the blade run. Wow.
Yeah, the one thing, though, I did not see in this performance, doubt. And that's something that always seems to creep into Cynthia Phaneuf's performance. There was no doubt. She couldn't put a foot wrong. What a pleasure to watch, and I'm sure to perform.
And earned over the last years, not months, years. Good for her.
Responding very well to be the Canadian women's leader at these World Championships. She's 21 years of age. Cynthia Phaneuf, free skate score, wow, way over her season's best, 1:18.04. Put that together, and Cynthia Phaneuf is currently in third place. Great skate.